It's Karl Hall from Punch Out Boxing. Delighted to be joined by Disney Drago, Steve Robinson. Steve, how are you, mate?
Good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, not too bad, not too bad. Things started to get a little bit heated. Obviously, yesterday, Franklin Ignatius calling you out, calling you a plank of wood, that sort of stuff. How's that sat with you?
Listen, he's a little prick at the end of the day. If somebody hits somebody with a plank of wood, they're going to go down. Look at Hacksaw Jim Duggan in the WWF days. He can sit and try and get in my mind all he wants. It's not going to work. Listen, I'm a kid from the streets. I'm not going to badmouth and argue with someone in front of cameras, in front of the British Boxing Board. It's disrespectful to the sport. We'll do it in the ring, and that's it. That's how it's meant to be. It's a gentleman's sport. It's a fighter sport. Do it in the ring. It's all unnecessary. Trying to get into my head and stuff. It's pathetic, man.
That just leads me on to something. For those who don't know much about you, Steve, give me a little bit of background about how you got into boxing, because I know it was only around 8 years ago, wasn't it? And you're obviously stepping up to a really decent level now. Talk me a little bit about that.
Do you know, I played professional football over in China, over in Hong Kong for South China. Got told I'll never play again. Back of 2 injuries, 2 ankle injuries. So I joined the gym, fat, overweight, not realising what I'm going to do with my life. No GCSEs, and thought I'll go down the gym and get fit. And the guy who owned the gym's now my boxing coach, has been for 8 years. Says, come to the boxing classes, and went along, give it a go, enjoyed it. And 8 years later, I represented Britain, had 44 amateur fights, lost 7 for them to Delicious, who's now going on to the Olympics. So a very, very good kid. And ever since then, I don't want easy fights. I'm a fighter. I'm not in the sport to make up numbers. I'm not in the sport to try and, everyone knows that until you're at the top, there's not millions to be made. So why not make these fights? Why not fight against these prospects? What's the point in going 14, 15, then fighting against the prospect? Where do you go from there once you've been defeated? So it's about doing things early, and fair play to Franklin. As much as I think he's a knobhead for him, his mind games, fair play to him for taking this fight on. He took a prospect on his last fight, so fair play to him as well.
Yeah, because you talk about difficult fights. Obviously, you had a difficult fight with Nick Campbell. You turned that around brilliantly, and obviously come out the victor. What was going through your mind after those first 2 rounds? Because I think most of us who know about you that you do tend to start a little bit slow, but were there times where you were worried, thinking, fuck, like, he might get me out of here? Or?
Nah, never worried. The plan was to let him tire out. I said it live on Sky Sports in an interview. I says it'll be stopped before the 4th. But that's in the past. I don't look at my lost defeats. I don't look at my past wins. I don't look at my past defeats. They're in the past. You forget about the past. You look towards the future. I'm not looking past Saturday night. I'm not looking back at past fights. I'm looking on Saturday night, and that's what's going to happen. Come out victorious.
In terms of coming out victorious, how do you see that going? Franklin likes to fight on the outside, or run, as you would say. Are you looking to try and walk him down, or just cutting off the ring? What's the plan?
Franklin can run as much as he wants. The ring's only so big. When he's got a 6'7", 17.5 stone man ramming a jab down his throat, there's only so far you can go. He'll be dubious of the power from the start. I know he will. And then the more he runs, the more I cut him down, the more he'll make mistakes, and there'll be a knockout tomorrow night.
I know you said you're not looking past it, but let's say you do come through Franklin Ignatius like you expect to. What sort of names are you looking at? Are you looking at Wardley? You're looking at Solomon Dakers? Are those the people that you're looking at?
Of course, like I say, I'm not in the sport. You're not in the boxing for a long time. I'm not getting any younger. I took it up late, and we know where we're at. So why not fight for English titles, British titles? But I need to win Saturday night before I even start looking at them. And, we will win on Saturday, and then we'll start calling them names out.
Look forward to seeing you on Saturday. Just before I let you go, talk to me about Newcastle United season. Well, Newcastle fan, as you can see, mate. Season ticket holder.
I'll be at the game tomorrow. I've got a box tomorrow. We've got Gateshead tomorrow. Similar to you, season ticket holder. I've got a box there, and it's unbelievable to be around it. And you'll see in my ring walk music tomorrow what Newcastle means to us.
Just, I wanted to go through literally one-word question, one-word answers, if that's all right, to these questions, and they are Newcastle related, unfortunately. So I do a lot for Newcastle Fans TV as well. earliest memory or your first game?
So first game was Everton in the Karl Cup. I was 1998 it was, and it was on a Thursday night, pissing down with rain. And I remember my brother took us, I was 7-year-old, my brother took us, my mum let him take us. And it went into extra time and penalties, and I think, it was like 11:30 when we got home, but it was just, I'll never forget the atmosphere, I'll never forget the buzz. Earlier memories I can't really remember. My dad says they used to do the training ground, where you were allowed to the training ground with Beardsley and stuff, and I've got photos training with Rob Lee, Gillespie, Beardsley, Barton, Timon Ketspire, so I can't really remember them times, but the first game, sorry, it's meant to be one word, Everton.
That's fine, you can elaborate, no problem. Is that your favourite game as well?
I've been to some away games. I'd say probably one of the Preston away was an unbelievable atmosphere when we made the championship. I'm saying made the championship when we got relegated in the championship. Preston away was a funny old atmosphere, funny old vibe to it. Plymouth Argyle away was a Tuesday night. It was a midweek game. It was travelling down to Plymouth at 9 o'clock in the morning. But this season has just been. I remember Tottenham when we had originally first getting taken over, and Tottenham was the first game. And I remember the atmosphere and just sitting. It was just unbelievable.
Madness. Favourite player? I think I might know. Similar kind of era to me, I think.
At the minute, or
past and present.
Past and present. Do you know what? I played professional football as a goalkeeper, so I remember being told to I was at Leeds Academy up until I was 17, and I got told, watch the goalkeepers, follow the goalkeepers, and Shea Given was so underestimated because he was at Newcastle. And Newcastle, we had a good season, but then we had off seasons, and Shea Given, and I remember a keeper called Yuzi Askelainen, and he single-handedly kept bowling up so many times. He was phenomenal, absolute phenomenal keeper. So I'm going to go with Shea Given, bit out there and be a bit different to the normal.
What about present? In this season's, last season's.
Again, Pope's been fantastic. Dan Burns signed him as a centre half. Put him, and he's
about your size, isn't it?
Yeah, he is. He's done a fantastic job. Trippier's done a fantastic job, but I think for me, you can't look past Sean Botman, because you look at our defensive record, you look at what we've done at the start of the season. Pope was great and had pulled off some, but with them two in front of him, Shaw 30, 32. People, when we signed him 3 years ago, it was like Shaw, and we got Fernandez at the same time, and it was like, but wow, what a partnership them two have been this season.
I reckon Shaw was the best centre half in the Premier League last season. What do you reckon?
100%. I think again, he's so underestimated. One, because of his age. One, because he's Swiss. One, because he's not a massive name out there. One, because he was playing for Newcastle. But there was times when 70 minutes in, he was out on the floor with cramp, getting stretched out, injured. You could see he was sore, and he still give 110% until the 90 minutes was over. Every game.
Favourite goal?
Probably Shearer against Everton. It's got to be. Or Obafemi Martins against Tottenham.
That was a scream.
Or Tiote 4-4 against Arsenal. There's too many of them.
Hatton Ben Arthur's against Bolton and Everton.
Well, Bolton and Blackburn in the same season when he just took on the full team. Had Henry have scored that, or had somebody have scored that, like Messi, it would have been goal of the season. But because it was Ben Arthur, it was like
he had the talent to be like them as well. Final one from me. How do you think we're going to get on in the Champions League, mate?
Listen, I'm a dreamer. Of course I want to see we do well, and with that high press, as long as we bring in 8-9 players, because we can't keep that high press up without getting exhausted. It's an impossibility. So it'll be interesting to see. It's not an answer I can give now, because with the current 11 on top of the Premiership, on top of the other cups, I can't see we're doing well just with pure exhaustion. But with that high press, with that constant work, rate. I can't say teams were fearless. Well, like when Leicester won the Premier League, they didn't give a shit whether they got beat 5-0. They went out there, threw the hearts on the line, and they were fearless. And that's what we were last season. And I'm looking forward to seeing what we can do, seeing what signings we brought in. Obviously, we've already brought a massive signing, so it's just building on our squad and seeing where we can get to, and getting another 4 or 5 players.
Really appreciate your time, Steve. Looks forward to seeing you fight tomorrow. Hopefully coming out with a result as well. I'll be a bit biased on that, I won't lie. And might even see you at the Gateshead game as well, to be fair. So appreciate your time, mate. Thank you very much, Steve. Cheers, mate.